Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. This is a very special episode. I put a fair bit of work into this. I may have even overdid it a little bit. And when you have like a good draft and then you kind of keep going, and maybe you should have went back a few steps. I, let's see what we got here. I hope you'll enjoy Dwarves of Allsmith.
Dwarves of All's myth. Long before men, elves, or hobbits, before the ages when fairies sought refuge deep within the realm, there existed Brandon's realm, a boundless and raw world. Beneath its surface lay the Hall of All's myth, a vast labyrinth carved from stone by the firstborn of the realm, the dwarves. The dwarves were children of the Grand Gnarl, an immense and ancient being rooted at the heart of the realm. Born from the last surviving roots of the primordial forests, the Grande Gnarl was a relic of an age when the realm's surface teemed with life, but was consumed by predators and pestilence. From its roots, the first dwarves sprouted, like tubers grown deep in the soil, emerging as the heirs of darkness and stone. The Grand Gnarl's love for his children was boundless, and he bestowed upon them a unique gift, golden sap, dripping from his massive branches. This sap, when mixed with blood or water, transformed into potent alcoholic beverages known as sap ale. The dwarves cherished this gift, seeing it as a reward from a proud father to his children. Sap ale became a central part of their celebrations, consumed during feasts and after battles, its warmth a balm to their spirits. Unity of song and stone. In the earliest ages, the dwarves thrived in the deep, pitch-black halls, carving their home out of endless stone. They needed no light, no warmth. Their tools, hammers and pickaxes, were both instruments of creation and weapons of war. The Grande Gnarl, eternal and wise, taught the dwarves the ways of storytelling, song, and celebration, binding their people in an unbreakable unity. With every 100 meters of stone carved, the dwarves held ceremonial feasts. Around tables hewn from the rock itself, they consumed the powdered stone mixed with the ichor of the beasts they slew. Sap ale flowed freely, a divine draught that heightened their joy and eased their toils. These feasts were moments of reverence and triumph, where songs of labor and tales of battle echoed through the halls. Song of stone beneath, stone above, in its depth we find our love. Each strike, a hymn, each chip, a verse. In the stone we lift the curse. Feast and drink our labors sing, carve the halls for an endless king. The Grand Gnarl watches, roots entwined, our stories told, in stone enshrined. The dwarves worked, warred, feasted, and rested in perfect unison. Individual strength mattered, but their collective spirit was paramount. They celebrated their victories together, mourned their fallen with song, and grew stronger with each battle fought and tale told. The beasts of the deep. The dwarves' realm was not without danger. The underworld teemed with shifting animalistic forms, grotesque and mindless creatures driven solely by hunger. Some were ever-changing, their forms warping to fit their environment. Others were fixed in monstrous permanence. Eyeless rodents, their jaws capable of crushing stone, and giant centipedes, whose legs clattered like 1,000 blades against the rock. These beasts had no minds, no thoughts, only complex reflexes that compelled them to hunt and devour. To the dwarves, they were not just enemies, but challenges to overcome, forging their people into mighty warriors. The tale of Gron the Rootbinder. In the third generation, Gron the Rootbinder faced the first great beast, a writhing, tentacled abomination whose acidic bile dissolved stone. Gron, armed with a hammer inscribed with dark runes, battled the creature for 7 days. With each blow, its limbs were shattered, and its form shifted into ever more grotesque shapes. When the beast finally fell, Gron dragged its carcass to his kin. The dwarves feasted upon its flesh and drank its blood, mixing it with the Grande Gnarl's sap to create a mighty brew. They sang songs of Gron's valor, their voices rising in celebration. From that day, his name became legend, a symbol of dwarven endurance and might. Song of the Beast's defeat. Strike its limbs, strike its maw, break its flesh, enforce our law. From the depths it dared to rise, by Gron's hand it met demise. Feast we now on foe's own might. Drink its blood, devour the night. Stone and dark, our strength aligns. victory sung in endless lines. The power of darkness. The dwarves were not mere creatures of stone and muscle. They learned to draw power from the very darkness that surrounded them. The Grande Gnarl taught them to imbue their tools and armor with dark magic, leeching the life from the beasts they slew. With each battle, their weapons grew deadlier, their armor tougher, and their strength more profound. Song of the Shadow Forge. In the forge where shadows glow, our hammers strike, our power grows. From the beasts their strength we claim, in the dark we carve our name. Pickaxe sharp and hammer strong, in our hands they right the wrong. Stone and dark, a union true, the forge of night our strength renews. The age of culling. After 17 generations, each lasting 1,000 years, the dwarves had hollowed the entire realm, creating the sprawling Hall of All's myth. The Grande Gnarl then declared the beginning of the Age of Culling, a time when only the strongest would remain. For 93 years, the dwarves turned their weapons upon one another. There were no children born during this time. Every dwarf had already grown to adulthood, their names etched into legend. The battles were brutal, fought with enchanted hammers and pickaxes. The fallen were honored not with burial, but by consumption, their strength absorbed by their kin. When the bloodshed ended, only 7 champions remained. These 7 dwarves bore the collective strength, wisdom, and memories of their people. They remembered every song, every tale, every feast that had ever graced the Hall of All's myth. The 8th dwarf. Yet the Grande Gnarl's will was not entirely fulfilled. An 8th dwarf emerged, one who refused to take part in the culling. While the 7 champions retreated to the core of the realm to meditate and guard the ancient halls, the 8th chose a different path. He ventured to the surface, leaving behind the darkness and unity of his kin. He carried with him the stories and songs of the dwarves, a lone bard wandering the untamed world above. His tale remains unwritten, a mystery awaiting its time. The legacy of the dwarves. In the darkness of Brandon's realm, the dwarves carved not only stone but a legacy. Their songs and tales, preserved by the 7 champions and the wandering 8th, became the lifeblood of their culture. Their unity, their triumphs, and their defiance against the wild dark ensured their place in the annals of history. Final song of unity. Stone we carve, the dark we tame, our hammers sing, they know our name. From roots to halls, from realm to lore, dwarves endure forevermore. In feast and war, in song and tale, through deepest dark we prevail. Raise your voice, let echoes soar, for all's myth lives forevermore.
Well, a lot that can be said about that. Um, I'm hoping the ending there wasn't too gruesome for people, being as you might have come to be a little bit attached to these characters, but this is supposed to be kind of the pre-setup kind of thing. Like, this is a very early story in the history, but I wanted to make it clear that, like, they had 17,000 years, so let's not forget that, even though their last chapter there might not have seemed like a nice place to leave things off at, but you got to realize the collective strength of a race put into 7 individuals means those have to be some very powerful individuals, and they'll definitely be important in the future. But for now, they're just kind of sitting down in the core of the planet, and then there's the 8th dwarf that's going to the surface, and I guess we'll have to have another chapter for this to go on, and so it's very much a prehistory chapter. And I want to continue the story of Brandon's realm, and I want to make it clear that this um, series, I guess I'll call it, even though it's part of Electric Sheep, it might take a bunch of different forms, who knows, but this is part of Brandon's Realm, and it's dedicated to my best friend Brandon Banman. It's also dedicated to another good friend that I lost, Al Smith. That's the inspiration for the halls of All's Myth, if you couldn't pick up on that. I also want to dedicate it to my mom, Marj Sims, and to Neil Macaulay. There's some really important people in my life, and I wish I could share this story with them, but I can't, so I'll share it with you instead. And so I hope you enjoyed the story, and if not, that's quite all right. Feel free to be critical of it. Don't think that my personal attachment to it makes me not want critical feedback. I love me some critical feedback. Um, yeah, but I like this story the way it was. I added a lot to it because I wanted this to be a very quick beginning chapter, but I wanted to fill it out a bit more, and so it changed shape a lot. And I'm pretty happy with the shape that it's in now. But like I say, I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you the best of luck, and I love you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.